Hey everyone, today we have a huge AMA with Bitlayer. To kick things off, could you please introduce yourself, Charlie, and a bit about your background?
Sure. Thank you very much, Will. And great to be speaking in front of the DEXTools and all the communities. So my name is Charlie, co-founder of Bitlayer. Started my Web3 journey since 2015. Early involved with the Ethereum community and then Polkadot from 2017. Had previously head of APAC and Polygon in 2021. Get to know Ordinals in 2023, and we started Bitlayer last November. We've been one of the largest Bitcoin L2 ecosystem so far with 850 million TVL, 260 projects every day around 200,000 to a quarter million transactions per day. Altogether, we have 25 million transactions now. Focus on Bitcoin DeFi. Yeah, looking forward to share all the knowledge and insights with you guys.
Wow, that's super impressive. And you have a really great resume, honestly. We're talking to an OG today. So, for anybody that's sleeping or that's living under a rock, can you explain what Bitlayer is and what you guys are hoping to achieve?
Sure. I think it comes down to from the ordinal season last year, we see some really interesting builder culture and interesting activity on Bitcoin activities, and a lot of fees being generated, right? And also paying back to the miners. We believe Bitcoin needs ecosystem. Bitcoin holders looking for yield. So we are providing this trust minimized bridge, trust programmable environment for Bitcoin holders to access to all kinds of DeFi use cases. So that's kind of the mission. And what we are building as a key features is one is the BVM2 trust minimized bridge, which we can lower down the trust assumption from the majority honest MPC solution to one out of N kind of the trust minimized way. The second thing we're working on is Bitcoin layer 1 verification. So with that, we can verify transaction happening on L2 to Bitcoin L1 through the tap tree model. With that, we can have access to the same level of Bitcoin security as layer 1, not just a sidechain. That's a very important difference between Bitcoin sidechain and Bitcoin L2s. So that's kind of the key two components we're working on. Obviously, we don't want to stop there. And the third step we're working on is high performance scalabilities with the real-time VM. Now, right now, we are EVM compatible, but in the future, we're going to scale to higher performance real-time VM, which is other ecosystems such as Monad and MegaEase is working on. So that will be very exciting to support more scalable mass adoption use cases as well.
Wow, that's a notable mission. And honestly, I totally agree with you. People holding Bitcoin want to start using it, earning yield, and dive into the DeFi ecosystem using their Bitcoin. So every great project has an amazing team behind it. You guys have done splendid. Can you tell us about who are the people driving Bitlayer forward with you?
Sure. So co-founders are me and Kevin. Kevin used to be the head of engineering in Huobi, one of the largest exchanges in the world, who knows and working with a lot of Bitcoin miners in Asia, especially the key ones like Alpha, Bitmain, Bitdeer, Spider Pools. And he has been a very experienced technical leader, all-time high managing almost 300 engineers in his team. And he was the tech builder for Hackle Chain, which was ecosystem chain for Huobi, early contributor for Celestia, and then understand that ZK rollups very well. And his team has a few other, we have a few other, our key cryptology and chief architects like Daniel and Andrew and Dr. Lindell, who have contributed in a lot of the code in the BitVM community, who wrote the very interesting solution called Chunker, which win the grants and the commit on the BitVM core communities. So Billy, at this moment, we are one of the key members of the BitVM Alliance member, contributing actively on the BitVM code to working on this very exciting solution to build this trust minimized bridge and L1 verification, as I just mentioned. On the non-technical side, which I'm driving, leading the team, we have a team members from used to working Avalanche, and actually TradFi background as well with Citadel, very interesting and payment solution like Alchemy Pay, and Pay, and a few others. So we have a very global team. Majority of team members still based in Asia, like Singapore, Hong Kong, but we have team members from United States, Vietnam, Poland, Korea as well. It's a global remote team, and we've been, kind of participating in all kinds of Bitcoin events all over the world this year. We sponsored all the Bitcoin magazine events, and they are our investors as well. I was just in Abu Dhabi a couple of days ago, attending all the financial weeks, trying to actually orange peel and also educate a lot of the non-Bitcoin folks and also the traditional finance people what's happening, what's possible around the Bitcoin ecosystem. And as you said, use that Bitcoin to tap into yield opportunity, which didn't happen in the past.
Awesome. I want to say you guys have a stacked team. And then secondly, I've seen you on roads at different countries, different events. You're really like representing the brand and building the credibility, and it's you're doing an amazing job, honestly. So I will have to ask you, Charlie, there is so many layer twos in this space. It's getting crowded. You might agree with me here. What makes
Right.
Bitlayer unique, especially in the Bitcoin ecosystem?
Yeah, I think we can start from the team. We have good experience building ecosystem. I worked with Polkadot, Polygon, Tezos, many other chain before. I have friends working for other Ethereum L2 like Arbitron, Immutable X. We kind of still compare notes sometimes, like have face-to-face conversations. My co-founder had very solid engineering background, leading a very large engineering team, deliver multiple scalable solutions in the past. So that's a very important thing as number one. We built ecosystem before, which is actually bring results and actually high level scalable ecosystem. So the second thing, we have access to good liquidity miners and whales in the Bitcoin community. It's not just in Asia, but also in the Western community as well. So that's very important to build an ecosystem. Being a very important, successful L2, you need to have good access to the Bitcoin, the whales, and liquidity providers. So that's the part that we have for pretty good kind of unique advantages. The third thing is technology innovation, right? So we have been one of the first team doing research about BitVM and all the other kind of Bitcoin updates. We just wrote a lot of articles about how Bitcoin ecosystem evolution, what's possible in the next for Bitcoin upgradation, the future BIPs, no matter it's CTL, Opcat, eCash, and so on. We are pretty on top of all these like technical innovation and also working on the engineering side. But also on the non-technical side, I mentioned a lot of Bitcoin L2s or side chains or meta protocols hasn't really get their proper community or ecosystem going yet. A lot of them don't have like builders working with them, right? And right now we're being pretty much one of the fastest growing ecosystem with 280 projects already fully deployed on our mainnet. We over 22 million transaction already. So we're making gas fee revenue as we speak every day. And we trying to really open up the space, not just in the small Bitcoin echo chamber and bubble, but actually tap into the Ethereum community or the proof of stake ecosystem, and also working with the TradeFi institution as well. Bitlayer being one of the first Bitcoin project invested by Franklin Templeton, the Bitcoin ETF major TradeFi firm, and we're talking to many other institutions as well. So that's very important. In this cycle, we have Bitcoin ETF, a lot of financial institutions who never actually tap into this Bitcoin digital assets as alternative assets before, and now as very seriously, practically talking and exploring solutions like us. So that's very important. So in a nutshell, building ecosystems require experiences, require good technology innovation, require access to good miners, good liquidity provider, and also builders. And more importantly, to do something innovative, you need to also have good partners in the new field, including financial institutions, but also all kinds of builders in the space.
Wow, very impressive. Franklin Templeton as well. You guys are putting all the pieces of the puzzle together, and you guys aren't even competing. You're dominating here. Love to see that. So you recently announced an exciting partnership with Binance Wallet for the BTCFi Carnival. What is that about?
Yeah.
Can you tell us how this collaboration works and what it means for Bitlayer?
Yeah, I know. I mean, for the people who are listening, I know a lot of them are pretty active on-chain users using DEXTools and many other on-chain tools for many years. So you basically can just tap into Bitlayer on the ecosystem using all kinds of MetaMask or EVM wallet, and of course to learn what's going on, logging to have a little taste of Bitlayer. But that campaign specifically, we're targeting the Binance Wallet user. Binance has multiple million users like across over 150 countries, and Binance is the biggest exchange in the world. That wallet has a lot of active utilities. So we want to bring those on-chain users, not just centralized exchange traders, but on-chain users to our ecosystem, because those are the users are not necessarily Bitcoin DeFi user yet. But through this campaign, one, you can earn rewards from our BTR token, which we're launching fairly soon, and together with another 11 hand-picked blue chip solid projects, tokens, and points. And we're actually pushing mostly not points, actually tokens. So they're going to, by finishing the on-chain tasks, off-chain tasks, and on this campaign, you can learn what kind of use cases across like DEXs, stable coins, option trading protocol, liquid staking protocol, on-chain gaming, or prediction market on Bitcoin. All these use cases we are providing that are built on Bitlayer. You learn what kind of use cases. By doing that, you can earn rewards, right? So it's a very important catalyst of onboarding new users to our ecosystem, together with this education and giving rewards to users, to incentivize users, encourage users to use our ecosystem, and of course they can get reward, right? So that's kind of a way to, how to say, to reward the whole early
Yeah.
adopters. Bitcoin ecosystem are very new. We need more users to have a taste, to give us feedback, to improve the ecosystem, improve the use cases, improve not just UI, UX, but also tokenomics, many other things. We want to grow this together with Binance. That's very helpful to learn what they can do with us and what we can do with them. So this campaign we launched 3 days ago. So far, we have over 120,000 participants already. One of the fastest growing campaign. So for the people who still want to have a taste, also share some piece of the pie of these rewards. I suggest everybody to check out the Binance Wallet, campaign. And on the Binance Wallet airdrop Bitlayer section, it's still ongoing. We still have another 5 weeks to go. Every week we're gonna feature one or two very interesting projects to earn rewards from that projects as well. Some are very blue chip, high potential project. We are very bullish as well.
Wow, Charlie, that's a huge collaboration. Congratulations. You guys are always pulling out the best partnerships and really looking forward to see what you guys have in store. I know you touched on this briefly, but I want to ask you if you could go into it a little bit deeper. Bitcoin has traditionally been, seen as a store of value. So how does Bitlayer change that narrative and open up new opportunities for Bitcoin holders?
Yeah, thanks for the question. Definitely, well, in the past, I think that a lot of builders was trying to have some attempts, right, to scale Bitcoin, to provide this programmability around Bitcoin. So for the people who knows, Bitcoin is the peer-to-peer cash system, right, with UTXO kind of model, with proof of work in the consensus. There's no built-in programmability on Bitcoin L1. There's no even the multiplication kind of capability. So there's the Bitcoin code has always been kind of a bit clunky and limited on a lot of things. It's pretty slow. It's only 7 TPS with around 20 minutes, confirmation time of blocks. So that's that, right? We all know that. But it's a store of value, right? Proof of reserve, with a lot of the amazing things in the last 15 years happening already. So payments is a very important existing use cases empowered by Lightning on a state channel already. What's new, what Bitlayer is working on is high-level programmability DeFi use cases. If no matter it's Bitcoin lending or stable coins or perp dexes or restaking protocols or prediction market, that you can't really just build that with UTXO model. That require high level of programmability with smart contracts. So what we are trying to do is provide this trustless programmable environment on L2, right? But that the transactions, the state transition verified back to the Bitcoin L1 through our BVM, the Taptree model. So we basically try to leave all the heavy duty transaction alone from Bitcoin L1, but eventually the result of the transaction, the state verification can happen back to Bitcoin L1, to settle back to Bitcoin L1. Then in that case, we have the same level of security with Bitcoin. We all know Bitcoin holders, a lot of Bitcoin OGs, they trust Bitcoin network, they trust Bitcoin security. They don't necessarily trust side chains. So what we are building fundamentally is not another sidechain, which is not innovative. We are building a native Bitcoin L2, which have the same level of Bitcoin security, right? So what's new along the ways, right? I think very exciting thing was definitely the Taproot asset upgradation in 2021, which enabled and allowed this Ordinals protocol happen last year, right? Ordinals definitely brought a lot of transaction, a lot of builders and holders, users from the NFT space on Bitcoin. And what we want to do is trying to drive this potential Bitcoin DeFi summer, which happened, the DeFi summer happened in Ethereum in 2020. A lot of millions of users are already doing things on Ethereum, on L2s and so on. But, there's a lot of DeFi issues and infrastructure issues with Ethereum, especially the fragmented liquidity across over 200 Ethereum L2s, right? But Bitcoin has over 1.5 trillion market cap. It's a very big digital assets with less than 0.1% of liquidity being unlocked with the WBTC. So we want to unlock their liquidity and tap into DeFi use cases for Bitcoin holders to allow them to borrow against their Bitcoin to get some stable coins, to do all kinds of things to play around. Eventually, there's a real fees being generated, right? Those fees are on-chain transaction fee, which can be paid back to the miners. So that would be a very important sustainability for the Bitcoin sustainability, because moving along, let's say 8 years or 12 years later, we have another 2 or 3 times of halving. It's going to be very difficult for the Bitcoin miners to keep paying the high power of hash power, contributing to the security budget for the Bitcoin network, because they're getting less and less payment on the Bitcoin, right? And then of course people can say the Bitcoin price can go up and everything, but I think Bitcoin network with the ecosystem, the miners can getting other fees, not just the mining rewards, can be the more sustainable future for Bitcoin network.
Wow. The Bitcoin technological advancement that Bitlayer is that you guys are doing for Bitcoin is huge, especially like for holders like myself and millions of other people that were able to now leverage our Bitcoin. It's short of huge. It's amazing, and I love what you guys are doing. I have to ask Charlie, meme coins are hot right now. They're taking over the crypto world. So does Bitlayer plan to support them? And what role do you see this playing in Bitcoin DeFi?
Yeah, I mean, definitely meme coin is one of the most hyped, asset class or segment in the Web3 space this cycle. Meme coin is not new. We have one of the earliest meme coin was, with Doge, right? Then we have Shiba Uno. We have many others in the last cycle. A lot of new ones happened in Solana and other ecosystems this cycle. Actually, some of them happen around the ordinals or runes as well, right? So Bitcoin L1 has all the meme coin already. But because of the fact a lot of people wants to trade high performance memes with very high frequency kind of trading, that happened already in Base and Solana. Some of them wants to explore that in Bitcoin. So Bitcoin L1, you can't really do that, right? But as I mentioned, it's only 7% TPS. The network is pretty expensive on gas fees, and the confirmation time is pretty long. You can't really have that same level experience of trading meme coin, same as like Solana, Chain, Base, and so on. But there's users that demand that, right? Expect that. And there's demand of people to hold Bitcoin alignment kind of meme coins with some Bitcoin culture, Bitcoin interesting, funny cult kind of narrative. So one community demand that we need to have solution to build. So we see a lot of interesting pump down fund with Bitcoin alignment, but it wants to work with Bitlayer, with our EVM environment, with our programmability environment. We want to provide that infrastructure for those users and those builders. I wouldn't say Bitlayer is fully focused on meme coin. We are I would say we are much more Bitcoin DeFi driven, but meme coin is a very important kind of how to say that, like a catalyst for the ecosystem, especially boost up the on-chain transaction fees, on-chain transactions. Also based on what I just said, the community have fun with it, they like it. So once there's a demand, there's a market, there's going to be some interesting supply, right? Whoever can first fulfill that supply, that demand with the interesting solution can win this market share. So I think there's an interesting opportunity for meme coin tooling platform builders to tap into the Bitcoin version of meme coin community. It's kind of a bit of a difficult way to say that, but for me, I think there's an interesting meme coin traders within the Bitcoin community. It's not as big as other ecosystem, but it's growing. It's early stage. If we have very good UX, UI, good tools around all the LLL tools to build all these like meme coin launchpad, meme coin swaps, meme coin even like lending protocols and so on, that would be interesting for the users to tap into. It's still very early stage, but I think that's opportunity there.
I love your open-mindedness, and you're not just like a extreme Bitcoin maximalist. You understand there's a huge market for it. Communities are built around meme coins, and Bitlayer is focusing on Bitcoin DeFi, but you guys adapt and build, a place for people that want to do it on your chain as well. I totally love it. So bridging to Bitcoin, to layer two can sound complex. So how does Bitlayer make this process secure and easy for users through the BitVM bridge?
Yeah, it's a good question. So yeah, currently a lot of other kind of side chains or previously, right, they all have the MPC solutions, which require majority of the signer are honest. So the BVM2 bridge, which is less trust dependent, or we call it more trustless, more trust minimized, is the innovation we're working on. So the BVM is a very interesting technology and solution which came out last October. The creator, one of the creators called Robin Linus. We are pretty closely working with the Robin Linus alliance called BVM Alliance. We are one of the member. The BVM2 approach we're working on with our implementation, which can allow the trust assumption from majority honest to one-to-earn model. And there's a different kind of solution coming along the ways. Basically, once we launch that, users can pretty seamlessly bridging their Bitcoin L1 liquidity into layer 2. And we can have that, but the BVM2 version, a lot of them are mostly focused on the high level of Bitcoin liquidity providers. For the retail, which have very much smaller Bitcoin holders, we have this like new approach, which is BVM empowered atomic swap. So they don't have to pay that high amount of fee from Bitcoin L1 to L2. So there's always the trade-off, right? You need the decentralized high level of decentralization, high level of trust minimized way, but you also want to make sure you don't pay crazy amount of fees. So that's kind of the trade-offs we're offering multiple solutions to different level of Bitcoin holders. The whales, the high level of Bitcoin, decentralized way of OGs, we can go to the normal trustless BVM2 bridges. But for the smaller retails and so on, we have the atomic swap kind of approach. So kind of tailoring different demands for the bridging market.
Wow, that's really cool. I love that you've tailored it for different types of holders. Very
Yeah.
awesome. So what are some of the key milestones or update the Bitlayer community can look forward to in the next 3 months? Do you guys have anything cooking up? I know this is a huge collaboration with Binance. I don't know if it gets bigger than that. What are you guys working on?
No, well, with Binance is definitely one of the biggest in terms of Web3 wallet, and of course the biggest ecosystem. The Binance have hundreds of millions of users now, right? It's one of the biggest exchanges. Well, of course, with exchange, we are still engaging with them on many others departments. We all know. Yeah, people always kind of ask us like when we're gonna launch our governance token, when we're gonna launch a few other key solutions. So it's work in progress. We in the upcoming months, we're gonna finish that. And one of the very exciting things I can have a little tease and alpha to share with the community right here is we're working very closely with Franklin Templeton on a very interesting money market platform. We are already into, Billy at this moment right now, it's already public news. We are fully integrated with the Chainlink, CCIP, and DataStream as one of the first Bitcoin L2. We are integrating the Nansen on the on-chain platform, and we are already integrated with the Layer0 on the DVN. And we're working with a few other major protocols, the blue chip DeFi protocols on the Ethereum world to tap into the Bitcoin liquidity. That's something we're working on. But well, on the institutional side, we have some very interesting Bitcoin DeFi and a CDeFi products we're designing with institution. That's we're launching. Franklin Templeton is one of them. We are very working very closely. A few others we are still early stage, which I unfortunately couldn't disclose the name yet, but that's very exciting. Which we want to really bring the institution adoption, the new users, not just the Web3 degens, but also the new users who actually just get their Bitcoin exposure through ETF and ETP to get access to the Bitcoin DeFi use cases.
Wow, that's huge, Charlie. Thanks for the teaser and huge partnerships and integrations on the way. Looking forward to all of them. I know they're short of nothing amazing. You guys have done just a great job on everything you guys ship. So, lastly, for those watching who are excited about Bitlayer, how can they get involved starting, using the platform? I know I just asked about any important dates or events. I know the huge collaboration with Binance. That's probably the best way for people to get started, but could you share where people could get started, how they can get involved and dive into the Bitlayer ecosystem?
Yeah, I think for people who wants to understand what kind of use cases we have on the ecosystem, the best way is to go to our website, bitlayer.org. We have the leaderboards in the ecosystem that we have sorted out on top TVR, top transaction, top social popularity kind of projects. And then from different category, from DeFi, like Launchpad, tooling, social, even AI agent, new different segments. So that's that. For the users who want to earn, all kinds of engagement kind of rewards or all the other, interesting things, you can enter the user center, which we have. So for people to finish all kinds of on-chain tasks and daily tasks and so on. This Binance campaign is a separate one, which I just mentioned previously. It's on Binance Wallet platform. So we still have another 5 weeks for users to win all kinds of rewards. So for people who actually want to tap into that, understand what kind of use cases we have on Binance Wallet campaign, feel free to check out on the Binance Wallet airdrops Bitlayer section. Yeah, and we are very getting close to our V2 mainnet. We are launching the BVM2 bridge and the layer one verification. With that, we can have more, better trustless, programmable environment for all the ecosystem use cases. So stay tuned for that. And of course, a lot of people keep asking every day. We are launching our governance token fairly soon in the upcoming months. We cannot really disclose where and when yet. We are still work in progress, but I can say it's getting close. We definitely want to launch our token in the bull market. I believe we are in the bull market now with a lot of interesting sentiment and momentum. Super excited to what's happening in 2025 with Donald Trump winning the election. A lot of pro crypto policies are already happening across the world, not just the United States, but also other countries as well. Yeah, very exciting to see all these like regulators, also institutions, big companies together with like miners, Bitcoin OGs, all kind of coming together. Yeah, so we have we have a very exciting year ahead of us.
Awesome. Thank you. Really looking forward to the V2 mainnet and, of course, the governance token and everything that you guys are shipping. So, thank you, Charlie. It's always our pleasure to have you guys, to have you on here. Your time is priceless. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I really appreciate the podcast today. Thank you.
Awesome.